At semi-final 10 years ago maybe, I came across an obviously talented young man, not even 18 at that point, and his name was Ville. And him played their first gig at semi-final. It must have been, if I remember correctly, it was 95 New Year's Eve. It was kind of a, at least Ville was playing there, and if I remember correctly, Mige and Linde, possibly too, but it wasn't him proper yet. He asked me questions about the business, and I tried to answer them. Yeah, but it was obvious that he was gifted.
With the band now touting the new EP, there was much speculation as to why they were singing in English. Again, him seemed to go against the norm.
In the 1990s, it really wasn't that popular in Finland to sing in English. I think many artists, because we have had, in Finland we have these, disappointments, because we have had these groups that we have tried to send to abroad to make a career, and those bands were singing in English. They were not necessarily doing good in Finland, but we assumed that now, because we have this band singing in English that sounds good, we should, put them abroad and try to make a career outside of Finland. And most of those attempts failed miserably. And I think because of that, we had this skepticism that we shouldn't, have bands singing in English, because they weren't really popular in Finland, and they also had lots of troubles abroad. So I think most of the people were like, okay, let's sing in Finnish. It's more popular in Finland.
Before releasing their first album, Him recorded an EP entitled 666 Ways to Love, Prologue. The EP was released in 1996 and featured a cover version of Chris Isaak's Wicked Game.
Okay, so the first EP came out in 1996, and radio started playing Wicked Game on radio a lot. A weird thing happened when they released their first singles. My girlfriend bought them, and it was like, I think that was a sign to me that, okay, this band is going to be big. Because my girlfriend doesn't buy, she might buy album, but she doesn't buy singles, and she bought their first single, I think. And that was a sign to me that, okay, they're going to become really big.
One of the things has to be, as I say, the commercial element of the rock they're doing. Not just the goth side of it. I mean, they had a massive success with a Chris Isaak cover, Wicked Game. That took them, obviously, into fans of Chris Isaak. Now, Chris Isaak fans obviously aren't goth, but they did such a good version of it. It was acceptable, and it's a great song to play on the radio.
We've always been playing loads of cover tunes by Madonna and Ramones and all sorts of weird acts, and it just felt good. That's the reason why we did it.
People know Wicked Game, their version of that song, but still there wasn't anything, it wasn't like, a huge thing when they released their first EP. It wasn't like a bomb would have exploded. It wasn't anything like that. It was a good song. People know the band, but I think still, people weren't sure what is this, because like that kind of stuff on radio wasn't really popular during that time.
We're turning into this silly, heavy metal jukebox sort of a thing. We've been playing so many cover tunes, so nowadays we're just doing Wicked Game. But that was, we did our first tours in Germany and everywhere else in Europe. We played that a lot, and people seem to like it. It's a good track.
In our playlist here on ARFM, we have about 300 main songs, and Him are up there. They are one of the most popular. We've currently got the Chris Isaak cover still on our A-list, because it's one of the most requested songs we've ever had.
With a fair amount of hype surrounding Him's goth metal sound, it didn't take long before the record executives were hot on their tails and offering them contracts. It was A&R executive Asko Kolonen who gave Him their first record deal, quickly signing them to BMG Finland. As in all bands, there is always someone there to make sure the group are in the right place at the right time while on tour.
I'm fucking Mutti. This is what the band calls me, like, it's Mama in German. What happened is, like, it was New Year's Eve in '96. I was here in Helsinki, and I was going out to a club called Lepako. Lepako means the bat in English. And him was performing that night. And I was like, heard of them or saw them the first time. I was like, when they were, performing, it's like, shit, what is this? Is this the reincarnation of Jim Morrison or what? I mean, he just looked like that at that time, like that curly hair down to his shoulders, and I was just like, oh goodness, it's so good. So I managed to get backstage and talk to that dude called Ville Waller. I was like, man, do you have a record deal or what, And he was like, well, yeah, we're signed to BMG Finland, and then, yeah, but what outside Finland? Nah, nothing yet. Yeah. It was like, okay, can I do something for you? Like, oh, yes, I would be so pleased, So I walked out to Germany, and it happens that I have my own company, promotion, publishing, and so on, and I'm working very much for BMG. So I thought, okay, easy, they can license it. And I took it out to Germany and said, like, hey man, you gotta see that fucking band, So they came over to Finland, we played another gig for them, and deal was done. They were like impressed as I was. Since then, I'm working for them. And I did their first record deal in Germany and 2 other countries. So since then we're working together, I'm doing the promotion for them, all the PR, and assisting to the management and being the mother, for all the little aches which are happening on tour. It's like boys are getting tired sometimes on tour, and you have to like weep them a little bit.
After overwhelming success in Finland, the band had their sights set on breaking the German market, but it wasn't going to be easy.
Let's put it like this, there is not that much media in Germany around, or it was not at that time, to work it through. The radios were saying like, no fucking way, it's too dark, it's too, negative, and we won't play it. So it was really hard to work on it, and I had to convince everybody, like, whoa, come on, it's a fucking great band. And then we had that Wicked Game was actually doing it. And we did like a totally new video for that in Germany with a like well-known producer, and a very fancy video, very expensive video as well. And that finally kicked it off. MTV was going for it, Viva was going for it, and then the radios picked it up.
I've got the strangest feeling.